Hello, everyone. Welcome to LabLabI World and welcome to ChatGPT API and Whisper API Global Hackathon. We are welcoming you here today with LabLabI team, and we are so happy to see you almost 2,000 people together with us building during next 48 hours. Last period of time we used to do 7 days hackathon, but this time it is a real challenge to build during 48 hours. So here we go. My name is Lisa Elizaveta. I am social media manager on LabLab.ai, and today I'm going to be your MC for this evening. Yeah, so for you to know, today we are going to start with a guide on our platform. Then we are going to talk about LabLab.ai vision and mission. Going to also meet new native a bit more, and this all we are going to do together with our founder, Matthias Asberg. Then we will meet Redis together with Tyler. And after that, you're going to go through our guides and talk more about the challenge, actually OpenAI products, about evaluation criteria, prizes. And after that, we're going to jump into Redis technology a bit more. So we will have pre-recorded session introduction to Redis. And for your understanding, if you haven't checked it yet, Redis is our side quest, which we introduced on LabLab.ai, and it's our second event happening together with Redis. So you all have a chance to build once, but win twice. So the competition will not end for you if you will implement Redis into your application. And after 2 months, after a series of events, we are going to choose also the winner in our side quest with Redis. So if you involve in your application Redis, you will have a chance to win twice. After intro to Redis, we are going to have a GitHub basic guide for beginners, but by Fabian, our developer. And after that, we are going to have a live coding session building an example chatbot with LongChain and ChatGPT and Redis as a vector database, also by Fabian from LabLab.ai. Next days are going to be more kind of focus days for you. So you're actually going to build because you have not that much time, and you are going to communicate with us on Discord. So you always have LabLab.ai mentors and Redis mentors available for you. So if you need any help, you just tag the mentor via tag mentor, but I will talk about it later. And we are going to have not live on Twitch, but inside on our Discord channel interviews with participants. So Nasty will later on inform you about all of these meetings. So you can just jump in open voice channels and talk to us, to LabLab.ai team, to our mentors, and yeah, get to know each other. And maybe if you're looking still for a team, you can meet your teammate there. And on Sunday at 23:59 CET time, there will be a deadline for you to submit your solution. Yeah, so right now I'm passing my word to Matthias. He will briefly introduce you to LabLab.ai mission and vision, also talk a bit more about New Native, our parent company. So welcome on the stage, Matthias. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. I'm doing very well, and I'm super excited to see what people are going to build this hackathon. And you have access to a great set of tools and languages we are building with this weekend, which is ChatGPT and Whisper API in the foundation. But a bit more about LabLab. So with LabLab, what we really want to do is trying to figure out what is the up and coming technologies that will have a significant, say, place in the type of softwares people are building from now on and moving forward. So we put in quite an effort on curating these technologies. We are focusing a lot around generative AI right now, but we're also trying to work with other softwares and tools that are significant parts of this ecosystem. So We are pushing, of course, LangChain a lot that have become very popular. We are working with partners such as Redis that have databases that give you those additional capabilities to build really interesting applications. So I really encourage everyone to come up with good and niched use cases, and also how you can combine multiple different technologies. I think the deal for the hackathon is that you need to include the Whisper API and the ChatGPT API. But if you then also add on, for example, LangChain, and you add on Redis, there is basically no limitations what you can build. We hope to have you all come back to us and build more with us in the future. And I leave the word to Tyler from Redis, I believe. Welcome,
Yes,
Tyler.
thank you so much. It's great to be here again. So my name is Tyler. I work with Redis. I'm in the Applied AI division, Applied AI engineering at Redis, and yeah, we're super excited for each of you in the next 48 hours. It's going to be an intense period of time as you're going to be heads down trying to ideate and figure out what to build. And so I'm going to spend the next couple minutes talking a little bit about who we are, what Redis is, and how it might be able to help you as you build. And this is, not a requirement to use Redis here, but it's definitely a tool that we think can accelerate a lot of your ideas and taking that from something on paper to something in an application. So I'm going to start just with a description of kind of what we have to offer, what Redis is. And so Redis is a real-time data platform with its sort of history, its heritage, if you will, in caching, application caching, web caching. That's how a lot of people are familiar with Redis. It's been around for 10 to 15 years, and it's a really popular open source product that Redis, the company, has sort of been the core sponsor behind. And starting from the bottom of this diagram up, there's our open source core, which you can find on GitHub. It's available. There's community contributions happening all of the time. And so part of what makes Redis really, really popular and also really powerful for some of these newer AI large language model use cases is that it has all of these multimodal, multifaceted capabilities built into it. Redis is really fast at its core. It doesn't just store keys and values. That's kind of the way we can abstractly think about it. But starting from the bottom up, there's all these different data structures, anything from strings, JSON, hashes, sets, lists, even vectors and embeddings. And on top of that, we've built layers of developer experience tooling to make this actually easier to work with, like fully supported client libraries in pretty much every popular backend language, in addition to some GUIs like Redis Insight, which allow you to take a look at what's going on in your database, both metrics and also explore some of the key space. And then on top of that, we have really powerful data processing engines like query and search, and even triggered functions like Redis gears that allow you to programmatically execute operations, on the fly based on some event that happens in your key space in Redis. Even event streaming and data ingestion. And then lastly, on the enterprise tier, there are all these enterprise capabilities around scalability, fault tolerance, high availability, the ability to geo-distribute your databases across the world so that all of your users get the same real-time acceleration. And so all of these things make Redis a great tool to potentially use in your solutions. And so we actually have a couple that we're going to focus on here. And so if we can slide down to the next slide. Great. So we have two areas that we really focus on for machine learning and AI use cases. One of them is Redis as a feature store, and the other is Redis as a vector database. And so you've probably heard both of these terms before. There are sort of plenty of solution-specific products out there in the market that can do these things. And again, back to Redis's nature as a real-time data platform, there are capabilities built in within Redis to do both of these things. So the basics of a feature store are that some machine learning model or AI model might need access to data that Redis can provide it super quickly. Sub-millisecond retrieval times for an ML feature vector. You can pop that right into your model and get the answers and get the results or predictions really fast. And so then the other side of this is the vector database, where vector embeddings audio, text, images, videos, all that unstructured data can actually be stored and indexed in Redis in order to do k-nearest neighbor searches or range queries to find similar items in the database. And so we'll talk a little bit about that in the upcoming architecture diagrams below. Let's see. Okay, great. So the first one is a really simple semantic search application. This is something that you might use OpenAI or Cohere or Hugging Face or any of these big model providers that can take unstructured data. You can turn it into embeddings. So these models are really widely available now. And OpenAI, for example, has a series of APIs that can do this for you, where you can give it text, you can give it documents, and they'll give you back the AI model's understanding of that piece of text. And then what you can do with that is you can index it within Redis. And so then this exposes the capability to do vector search to find relevant pieces of the text that might relate to your question or might relate to the thing that you're searching for. The beauty of semantic search is that it captures meaning, it captures context and understanding, which is very different than the way traditional keyword search or filtering works, which is a little bit more rules-based or a little bit more sort of rote in the way that it operates. Semantic search is very flexible, and there's a lot of reasons why OpenAI creates great embeddings, and they work really well with Redis. And this is just one of the architectures that kind of demonstrates that. The next one is a question answering application. And this starts to get us a little bit closer to the workflow we might expect for like a chatbot or for some sort of conversational AI application. And so for this reference architecture, you have some raw documents. Maybe this is open source documentation. Maybe this is like internal proprietary documents from your HR system. Maybe this is Slack archives of conversations you've had. Maybe this is your own personal notes that you might take in Obsidian or Notepad or whatever your note-taking app of choice is. And so if you run those documents through OpenAI to generate embeddings, you can store them in Redis. And so that bottom layer here is all about the workflow of getting your embeddings into the Redis as the vector database. And then on the right-hand side, there's this really common workflow that we've started to see in the field with customers that are running this in production today, as well as open source users that are experimenting with it. And so you have some client or some users that have questions that they want to ask, and you can generate embeddings from OpenAI that can take those questions and create them into the same vector space that all of your original documents are in. You can run a vector search query to then find relevant pieces of the documents that you might need to answer your question. Constructing all of those documents and packaging them into a prompt, passing them to OpenAI to answer the question with the GPT model, that's a really common workflow we see as well. And so this is just another example. OpenAI and similar technologies and Redis play really well together. We have lots of examples of how this might work. We'll be posting those in Discord kind of throughout the event. And so the last thing I wanted to share, just as we kind of finish out this little intro here, is just this is my team. So I'm Tyler. My colleagues Sam and Timur are both in the Discord channels as well. You can tag us. I believe there's even an @Redis sort of tag that you can use to reach us personally. You can also send us DMs, and we want to make you all successful. We want to see Redis used not just because we want to see our product out there, but also because we believe firmly as an engineer myself that it actually is very powerful in helping accelerate taking your product, making it real time, making it fast, making it really flexible. So there's a lot of ways we can work together, and I'm super excited to see the things that you all are going to build with ChatGPT, Whisper, and hopefully Redis. So good luck, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tyler, for such an introduction. That's super lovely. Thanks again. And so you all heard Tyler. So use the tag Redis if you have any questions, and go to channel Redis on Discord to communicate more and actually explore more this technology, as we are sharing more regarding Redis exactly in that Redis channel. So you can check it out. And right now, we are good to go to our platform and Discord guide. So right now you can see the hackathon guidelines, actually what we are going to do and how we are going to work during these 48 hours. So first thing first, you need to do to become successful during the hackathon is to create or join team on LabLab AI server. Later on, we will show you exactly in which channel you can do it. Then you will meet your team on Discord, and then after that, you will have a time to come up with 2 or 3 concepts. Why you're requesting 2 or 3 concepts is just because you can tag also mentor, and mentors will help you to choose the best solution, because later on when there will be an announcement, you will be looking for actually the best solutions which you can provide us with. If you communicate your idea with mentors and they say, okay, go, then you can actually start building and implementing your idea. So you build the prototype, and after that, you submit your solutions on LabLab AI platform. And remember, you have a deadline, so you have just 48 hours to build. And starting from the time after the hackathon, you will have a chance to just explore it a bit more and build actually till the end of Sunday. Yeah, and remember that we are all in CET time zone, so make sure you will submit your project right before midnight via CET time zone. So going back to the platform, if you are enrolled, when you enrolled, I hope all of you already done that, you will need to fill out your profile. So you fill out the info that is important for us to be in contact with you. We really recommend you to connect your social media, as later on we are going to tag you, so you'll be able to repost. And feel free to tag us everywhere, just because we're really super happy to share your news with us, with our community, and to actually share your solutions. So if you finished and finalized your project, you can tag us and we will for sure or reply to you or repost it. It will be really amazing if you can share what you built it or what you're proud of or your experience. We do appreciate it, and we are there always, for you. So make sure you also leave some of your social media channels, profiles, just because also your teammates will be able to connect. And it's super important. Network is networks in a way. So right after you filled up your profile, you will be able to create or join your team. So you can do both. You can or create your team or join your team. If you're going to create your own team, you are going to actually invite some people to collaborate with you, and there will be a button to turn on if you are looking for teammates or not, and actually you can write even who are you looking for. And if you decided to join a team, you will see that there will be a list of teams, and some of them will be with this little red note. So it means that they are looking for team members. So you can check out the team, maybe their idea already, because on our platform, we also have a little chat, and then you will be ready to go. So meet your team on Discord. After you connected your Discord, excuse me for a second. Yeah, I was super close to dying. I mean, my laptop. So when you meet your team on Discord, actually, you need to make sure that you connected to your Discord. You can create a voice channel on LabLab.ai Discord server. And if you have two or more members in a team, you can do it. You can easily create your own voice channel, and make sure that you're on all our servers, because we have special server for our LabLab.ai server where we share all the important information, and other servers just for creating the teams. So if you have more than 2 members, you can easily create your voice channel on LabLab Discord server. So after you are on Discord, you are able to communicate with our mentors, and you can do it super easy. You can go to or call in for help channel, or tag mentor on Discord and wait in your team's voice channel. You can tag a mentor in your voice channel, so the person who is the mentor will know that you actually wait for help, and they will just jump right in there. So even in voice channel, you can discuss it live with a mentor, and mentors are available throughout the whole event. So both LabLab.ai team and our LabLab.ai mentors are there for you to help you in tech questions, business questions, organizational questions. Also, our founders are jumping pretty often on server, so you can also have a chance to communicate directly with Matthias, Pavel, or Simon. They're there also for you. Or you can also always remember about Redis. Tyler is also super active, so he will be able to help you too. So don't forget to tag mentor if you need help. And here are Discord channels you need to know about. So as I mentioned before, to find a team or help, you go to questions and I need help channel. There exactly to make everything faster and more clear for everyone. Tag mentor and directly there write your problem or question. So everyone will be fastly, working, replying to your messages. And yeah, for education, we also have a channel. So there you can find our tutorials, or if you're new to AI, you can actually go through everything because, we are open for everyone. And maybe not every one of you is a developer, and if you're a business person and you want to learn a bit more from this tech side, you can easily go there and learn a bit more. And there's also a guide how to start. So even this Discord guide or our platform guide is available on our YouTube channel. So if you have any questions or doubts, you can go and check the whole video on our YouTube channel, the guide on our platform. But anyway, you can tag a mentor and fix your problem maybe a bit faster. And for fun, of course, we have articles, memes, and yeah, memes is super fun channel for you to just know. And what if your team members are inactive during the hackathon? So you have here two options: or join another team to help them on their project, or work solo and invite others to join you. So this is why it's super cool to share on your social media that you're actually participating in the hackathon. Maybe your friends will join you, because here you can find your friends, but it's so cool to build and have fun with your friends, because we are about innovating, we're about exploring the technology more, building cool solutions, but it's also about having fun. So you always choose which way you go, but don't be afraid if you see that your team members are not active. It's not a problem. And if you cannot find solution yourself, tag a mentor and we will help you. And yeah, so you can create okay. Uh, and now we are going actually to talk about the challenge and about the technologies we are going to talk to build with. So as you saw in the name and the description of the event, we are going to build with ChatGPT API and Whisper APIs, which were released by OpenAI not a long time ago. And OpenAI specializes in AI research and deployment. So the mission of the company is to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of its humanity. And I guess you already know the story, so we can jump in directly to the challenge. So the challenge for this hackathon is going to be to build actually with both of these technologies. And as we mentioned before, feel free and feel super open and actually excited about implementing also Redis database, just because, yeah, as I said before, you will build once and you will have a chance to win twice. And it's super cool because we have directly people from Redis helping you out there. So you can go check it out and implement Redis in your project as a side quest. So regarding OpenAI, Whisper, and ChatGPT APIs, we have tutorials on our platform, so you can check it out more. And not talking more about the technology, just mentioning that we are having our tech pages where you can find tutorials and boilerplates. So each technology has its tag on LabLaviate platform, and later on when you will submit your project, we will ask you actually to tag the technology you used in your project. So yeah, go to tutorials section on our Discord or on our platform directly to make sure you are free and it's easy for you to use the technology. And regarding platforms for demo, because at the end, you need to submit your solution and you need to provide us with demo of your project. So this demo you can do or on Streamlit or on Replit, and you can use both of these platforms. So it's a good recommendation from our side to use these both apps, platforms. And when you will finish your demo, you will need to submit your project on our platform. Remember about the deadline. And this time it's not 7 days hackathon, it's 48 hours hackathon. So make sure you manage your time super perfect way. And at the end, you're going to evaluate your project and choose the winners, actually. So we will discuss with our mentors and founders while choosing your projects, your presentation style. Also, we will look at applicability and actually business value, because later on I will jump to the prices. But it's super important that your project will be ready to go to market in a way and will work there. So we'll also put attention to degree of innovation or originality, technology and realistic capability, and actually impact how unique it is, how unique is your project, and in general overall impression, because we are a big team kind of judging. Yeah, not just our founders, but our mentors, LabLab team. So we are all after the end of the hackathon, we are all looking at your project, and yeah, we can also leave feedback so you can check it out later. So talking about the prizes, why it's important to make it valuable in a business way, just because a winner will get a spot in Slingshot, an early stage accelerator program by New Native plus LabLab AI swag. So you'll have a chance to win around 10K $1,000 credits in this program, and will be able to accelerate your idea and make it all happen together with our team, together with support of New Native and LabLab AI, together with our founders, which will available there for you. And the finalists will also get the opportunity to join the Slingshot. So we will be helping all of you guys to accelerate your project. So let's jump to winning team formula. Try to bring together people with both technical and non-technical backgrounds. It's so important to have different visions on the project. It's so important to have few ideas, actually, to later on choose the best one. So make sure you're all different kind of aspects of experts in your team. Choose a best communication channel for you, for all participants, as probably you're going to be from different time zones. You will need to communicate, and sometimes Discord is not the best place for people. So you can easily jump to other communication channels like, I don't know, WhatsApp, Telegram, whatever you use, to just make sure that you communicate fast with your teammates. And find out the working time of each team member and create the work schedule, set the deadlines, because it's super important, as you have just 48 hours to get some sleep, to get some rest, to get some food, and to enjoy and build actually some really great and cool solutions. So time to shine, your presentation. So in your presentation, which is going to be a form of submitting your project, it will be in the form of a video, and it should be maximum 5 minutes long, maximum. Longer videos, we unfortunately are not able to watch that much, because you're going to submit, and not just one team, but maybe 30, 40 teams. And it's really good if you make it short and clear for us. So you need to mention there, what have you built, a demo of the prototype. So demo you can do on Replit and Streamlit. And then the process actually of building the prototype, you can introduce your team if you want to, and also the business plan. It's super good to have. It's really amazing to have, but it's kind of not that obligatory, but it's really important when you implement it. So time to shine, as I said before, maximum 5 minutes, and upload your videos through submission form in LabLab team page. And if you have any questions about that or problems there, tag our mentors or Nasty, and we will be there to help you with that. So that's basically it about our platform, or about Discord, or about Hackathon Guide. I hope you have no more questions. If you do have, there is also a guide on the platform, and there is our big team on Discord server, so we are there to help you. And right now, let's meet Redis a bit more. So we are going to have an introduction to Redis. We are going to talk about Redis a bit more. This one is pre-recorded session, So you can easily find it out also on our YouTube. But let's move on right now to Redis as vector database and its side quest for LabLab AI.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Tyler Hutcherson, and it is good to meet some of you guys virtually. I work with Redis, and we are excited to be partnering with LabLab AI for a series of hackathons and initiatives over the next 2 months, where we're going to get to work together to build the next generation of AI native and AI enabled applications. And so the purpose of this video is I'm actually going to show you guys kind of the starting point for getting involved with Redis and using Redis in your stack. So if you go to the LabLab AI tech page, and you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can see here's this little block that the team made for Redis. And so this page has a bunch of information about Redis. You can read all of the helpful things. You can click all the links to docs. But if you're like me, you kind of want to get right into it and start building. So I want to go down to where this boilerplate section is, and I'm really interested in question and answering. So I'm going to click on this Q&A example. And the reason I pulled this up is because this is a great example of how to use Redis to augment OpenAI enabled workflows. And so one example I'm going to talk about is question and answering. We're all pretty familiar probably with the concept of creating embeddings from text. And so OpenAI has a series of APIs that they've released, and many of you are quite familiar with these. So I'm not going to spend too much time kind of diving into that, but we're going to talk about semantic search, and we're going to talk about question and answering. And so with semantic search, it's a pretty straightforward process where raw documents are converted using OpenAI's APIs. There's also other embedding and model providers out there like Cohere and Hugging Face, and many more to come. So these documents are embedded and then stored in Redis. And so Redis, again, some of you guys might be curious, why is Redis here? Redis has, innovated a lot over the last 10 years. And so we've been continually adding developer-focused capabilities. And with the wave and the turning tide of AI that's happening in our ecosystem right now, we realized that vector databases are going to be the future. And so we enabled vector database capabilities through our Redis search module as of version 2.4, which is generally available everywhere. And so with Redis as a vector database, all of these embeddings that you've created from raw documents using the OpenAI embeddings API can be stored in Redis. And they can be stored in Redis, which is an in-memory, blazing fast database, has a lot of flexibility in how you can use it. And it's also been around for a long time. Most companies and developers are quite familiar. And so the way this works then in a semantic search context is then you can query that database using vector representations of questions or queries to try to find similar or relevant documents that have been sort of pre-stored inside that database. You can think of the database as like the knowledge context. It holds information about a set of data. Maybe it's a bunch of Wikipedia articles. Maybe it's news articles you've scraped from some site. Maybe it's documentation you've pulled from your favorite open source library. And so now this is where question and answering comes in. It builds on top of semantic search by enabling users like yourself to ask a question. OpenAI will use its embeddings API to convert that text into a list of numbers that we call an embedding or a vector. And then you can perform vector-based search operations called VSS, vector similarity search, to find relevant documents. Then using those relevant documents, say you want to define the 5 most relevant documents in the database to your question, you pass the text and the content from those documents into a prompt construction function. So that prompt will take the documents that you found from your query, along with some sort of helper information so that the OpenAI generation model can know what to do with it. So we're going to construct a prompt that's going to say, answer the question based on this exact information you see below. And if you don't know what it is, then just say, I don't know. And so you pass that to the OpenAI API for generation. It will answer the question and return to the user. So we put together this application to show how that might work. It's a really simple containerized demo. And I'm going to actually set this up as if I was doing this for the first time. Of course, I helped build this, so I'm probably more familiar than most of you in setting this up, but I'm going to try to go from scratch so you can see how it works. I want to say one thing before we start, which is in order to do any of this, you need, of course, your OpenAI API key. So you can go to platform.openai.com, sign up, get a key, you get a bunch of free credits to start. They're a really wonderful company to work with. So first thing is we're going to clone the repository. So I'm going to do git clone .com/Redis ventures /Redis OpenAI Q&A. All right, so that's going to pull down the resources we need. I'm going to go into that folder. Just take a look around. You can see there's not that much here. It's pretty simple. There's Docker file, license file, README, an app, Docker Compose, a couple of basic things to get started. But I'm going to open this up in my favorite text editor, which is VS Code. And so from here, you can see there's your app folder that contains the actual Streamlit app that we're going to run, app.py. And then there's a folder of some images and things. You don't really need to worry about that. And then sort of our helper code. We're not going to go too much into the code here. My colleague Sam is probably going to do a live coding session. We might do a couple of them next week to kind of get you all in here, but I'm just getting you familiar with the repository structure. And so in here, we'll take this, and the first thing that the README is going to tell you to do is make a copy of the templated environment file. And that way, let's see, why is it not finding it? There we go. Okay. I don't know what that was about. So we're going to copy the template file. We're going to create a new environment file here. It's just an exact copy. The only difference is we're going to replace with your OpenAI API key, which of course I have mine saved off here to the side. You can try to steal this key if you want. I'm gonna turn it off here after this demo. But this is all you need to get started. Of course, you need Docker on your machine. You need Docker and Docker Compose, and you need your OpenAI API key. So I'm going to go ahead and do the Docker Compose up. And now if you've never built these before, the Docker Compose is basically set up in a really easy way to manage containers. This is not necessarily meant to be a production level service, of course, like we have things like Kubernetes and other options like Slurm and things to run things in production, but this is perfect for prototyping. So here we've got a list of services. One is a Streamlit app. You can see here, we've got a Docker file that this is actually going to run. That's why the context is saying here, it's going to look for the Docker file in this exact directory. We're going to name that container Streamlit, and it's going to build it. It's going to use the environment file to create environment variables. And this is going to depend on our Redis service right here. So Redis, we're just going to run the Redis stack server, which is the latest version of that image. We're going to expose some ports. Again, map the same environment file. We're going to create a volume here, so that way, if you spin this down and spin it back up, you'll have some persistence. And then lastly, we've got a health check. This is optional, but it's probably good practice. So when you run Docker Compose, it takes the information you've put in this Compose file, along with the Docker containers and all of the specifics you've outlined, and actually creates everything you need. A network layer creates containers that are going to run with these specific settings, and they can talk to each other. And so that's what we've done here. Inside your terminal, there are logs that show our Redis app. This is all the startup Redis log, and then our Streamlit app. These are the startup Streamlit logs. So if you've never run this before, the first time it's going to actually have to pull some documents down, and it's going to store them, embed them, and store them in Redis. So now you can navigate to localhost 8080, where the Streamlit app is running. And here we go. We've got Redis OpenAI Q&A application. And this data set isn't the most exciting, unfortunately, but it is about the 2020 Summer Olympics. So it's a bunch of Wikipedia articles that have been scraped and chunked up. And I think OpenAI actually hosts this data set. So there's a bunch of documentation online. So I can ask questions now. So I can say things like, who won the men's pole vault competition? And so this is going to follow the workflow that we identified below. So we ask the question, goes to OpenAI first, then goes to Redis, creates the prompt, and returns that information to OpenAI to get an answer. And you can see we actually get a response. And so this is useful because the difference between Q&A and just pure semantic search or document retrieval is that it's an additional layer on top. They both have their use cases. They both have places where they're super valuable in business context and in the real world. So for Q&A, users expect a little bit more specificity with the results. So the benefit here is that we're not allowing the language model to just make up some answer. Because if I ask this question to ChatGPT, well, ChatGPT might know the answer, but if I ask this question directly to, like, for example, the Da Vinci model, it's quite possible that it's just gonna come up with something random. And we don't want it to have these hallucinations. That's kind of what we call it. So this is useful in a lot of business cases where you actually can't have it make something up. You need it to be correct. And one way to do that is to enforce it to use a context that you create. And this is where a vector database comes into play. And you need this to be fast. So you can see these are the documents that were identified by the vector database as, hey, these might be relevant or interesting documents to use in trying to answer the question. And of course, the first one you can see is a document about the pole vault event at the 2020 Summer Olympics. So I hope this is a helpful starting place. Of course, different data sets, different combinations of APIs. There are all sorts of different community tools like LangChain and GPT Index to do more sophisticated chat-based apps or question and answering apps that are much more mature. So we're really looking forward to see what you all build using the power of OpenAI and other language models and Redis as a real-time vector database and ML feature storage engine. So you know where to find us. We're on the Discord. We're going to be in touch. Reach out to us. We're looking forward to this. Thanks, everyone.
So that was amazing. And now you can see actually how you can implement Redis into your solution. And really recommend you to do that because it is a good chance to actually win some good prizes. And the prize for actually the side quest is much more bigger, but it is going to be announced soon. So stay tuned and build with Redis. And for now, we are going to jump into a basic guide on a GitHub, actually how to use it, what to do with NV files, and more, also by our developer Fabian Steller. So this video is also pre-recorded. It's actually a video from our channel, but it is super useful for you actually to know how to manage and move on GitHub. So again, it is pre-recorded. You can find it on our YouTube channel. We will share more links with you later on. And yeah, right now we are jumping into this tutorial guide.
Hello and welcome everyone. In this tutorial I will show you how to use GitHub for your hackathon project. So let's get started. First, head over to github.com and create a new account with the sign up button right here. I've already done this, so after you completed the sign up you will come to this site. And this is basically the GitHub main page. And right here, to create a new repository, you can go to the top left to this plus icon right here and click New Repository. Next, you need to select an owner. Just select yourself in this case. Then you can give your repository a name. So for now, I will just go with Hackathon Test Project. You can give a small description to your project. You can decide whether you want your repository to be public, so visible to everyone, or private. Private means that it's just visible to you and collaborators you add. You can add a README file, so tell people what your repository actually is. You can add a git ignore file to ignore files that should not be uploaded to our version control. I will go over these a little bit later, so for now we will just click create a repository. And as a next step, I want to show you how you can actually add collaborators to your project, because most of the time you will be working in a small team. So you can just go over to the settings, then on the left side collaborators, and then down here just add people. Then you can enter a username, full name or email. For now I will just take someone from the lab development team. So I will click him and add him to the repository. We can see right here that the invite is pending, so he will receive an email and also a GitHub notification that he got invited to this repository. Okay, so next let's look at gitignore files. I've created here on the right side a small sample project with just one Python file and one env file. So this right here is an example for an API key that you don't want to be publicly available on GitHub in your repository. So let's exclude this env file from our version control. To do this, we will create a new file that's called gitignore. And in this gitignore file, we can just type in the name of the file we don't want to be uploaded to GitHub. So in this file, it's .env. And to actually confirm that this will not upload to GitHub, we will use the command git init to create a new Git repository locally on our machine. And right here we can see that these two files now got added to our repository, so it's just main.py and the gitignore file, but not our .env file. So let's upload this to GitHub. We can use these commands right here to actually upload it a little bit faster. So first we will add all our files and we will create our first commit, switch on the main branch, add the remote origin, and then push all files to our remote repository. Let's refresh our GitHub right here. And now you can see that we have both of these files right here, and our .env file is excluded from our Git repository. Okay, so next let's look at how to actually host your project so people can see it all around the world. So right here we have three different platforms. Vercel, this is great for all kinds of web applications, mostly JavaScript, but also Python. You can just click here Start Deploying, connect your GitHub, and then after it's connected, you can just select your repository right here. And most of the time, it's actually a zero config deployment, so you can just hit deploy and everything will work out of the box. So that's great for JavaScript and Python web projects. Then next is Replit. On Replit, you can basically host any code in any language and you can run it in the browser. So it's super useful. And the last thing is Streamlit. Streamlit is great for Python applications. You have some really good components you can use to actually create a web application really fast and easy. I hope this small guide was very helpful for you. You can also find this in written form on our LabLab AI tutorial page. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.
So on this guide, you saw probably how actually you can navigate on GitHub and how you can use platforms to do your demo, which will be needed for submitting your project. Remember to use all of these apps, and again, reminder to go on our YouTube channel if you want to rewatch these videos again and actually to find the whole kickoff stream there. So you for sure haven't missed anything because you will be able to share it with your friends later on or just rewatch it if you will have a need to do that. And right now we are going to have a live session with our developer, Fabian. And we are going to build an example of chatbot with LongChain, ChatGPT, and Redis as a vector database. We are going to have this tutorial on LabLab.ai website soon, so stay tuned in Discord channels. And Nasty will share with you all the important links later on. And right now we're going to jump into our live coding session with Fabian.
Hello and welcome everyone. Today I will show you how you can build your own e-commerce chatbot with the help of Redis and LangChain. I will just give you a quick demonstration of what we will build today. So right here you can just input any question, for example, And then in the background, different Amazon products get queried from our dataset, and the bot transforms the query answers into a nice looking answer. So right here you can see that based on your inputs, you're looking for earrings. And here are some popular options that the results actually gave back to us. So the silver hoop earrings. So yeah, let's get started actually building this. Okay, so first we're going to install all required dependencies like Redis, Pandas, OpenAI, LangChain, sentence transformers, and python.env. I already did this, but if you're doing this for the first time, this may take a while. Next, we will import all of our important libraries, load our env file, and then connect to our Redis cloud database. If you want to harvest the full power of Redis, though, you should do this locally with Docker. Next, we will load our product data from our CSV file and take some really important columns like item ID, domain name, and item keywords. And then display the first 5 elements of our new data frame. So right here we can see that we have a bunch of products now. Next, we will load the sentence transformer in order to create embeddings from our new created data frame. This can also take some time. Okay, so that's done. Let's take a quick look at one of our items. So right here you can see that there are a lot of different attributes with different information. So that's looking good. Next, we will define 2 functions that we will use later. The first one loads vectors, and the second one creates an index with these vectors. As next step, we will actually create a flat index with our Redis connection and then load in our newly created vectors into this index. Next, we can import LangChain and create our first prompt template. This template is to take the user's input and create a comma-separated keyword list. This is because in our Amazon product data. The item keywords kind of look like this, so just random keywords. And the user input in the end will look something like I just demonstrated at the beginning. So just something like I want to buy a new shirt. And we have to convert this sentence into keywords in order to query our vectors more efficiently. So that's why I create this prompt template right here. So you can see that it only has one variable, and then the actual template is create comma separate product keywords to perform a query on the Amazon dataset for this user input, and then the variable. Yeah, and then you can use this prompt template in an actual chain. So we define a chain right here. Then we get the user's input, and then we use this chain to get our keywords right here. As a next step, we use our sentence transformer to encode our keywords into a vector, and then query our dataset with this vector to get the top 3 similar products. With these 3 products, we actually build a string to pass it on further. And then we create another chain to actually ask some questions and have a conversation about these different kinds of products. So right here you can see I have another string, this time with 2 variables. And then these variables are just the chat history. So we can also talk about previous things that were said during the conversation. And also the current user message, which consists of and we also passed the new user's message, and this message is just the query results and then the actual question that was asked at the beginning. So with this, we run the predict function on our chain and get an answer back. Then we print this answer out to the console, and then we just have this while true loop to have follow-up questions, to further ask questions about the products. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you learned something today. If you want more of this, you can check out the LabLab AI tutorial page with more content.
So thanks, Fabian, for such a lovely tutorial. And actually, you can You can check it out later on our website. The tutorial is going to be live. So as I said before, we're going to share all the links with you. And actually, we're going to have a video version of this tutorial later on our YouTube channel. So you can also check it out and, follow all our socials to make sure that you're always stay tuned and updated. So with our good luck to you, we are also need to mention that you always are welcome, and actually we are there to help you. And you always contact mentors, you always contact Nasty, Alessia, me. My tag is Lisa, so you can also tag me on Discord, and we will be there for you to help you find your way out and solve your problems. So wishing you good luck, and always remember you can reach out to us. Make sure you follow us on all social medias. Feel free to share everything you do. You can share process of building during the hackathon on social medias, and we will repost it. So thanks a lot for joining us today, and we wish you good luck building. See you soon, guys.